President Biden is calling for a fair deal for striking Hollywood writers, saying we need them to, quote, tell the stories of our nation and the stories of all of us. The Writers Guild of America has been on strike since last Tuesday after negotiations with studios fell apart. Several TV shows and movies have since halted production, and with late-night comedy shows shut down, the picket lines have become one of the hottest tickets in town. Seth Meyers, Rob Lowe, and other celebrities, including cast members of shows like Abbott Elementary, have been seen supporting the strike, going out there, hanging out with protesters, picketers, rather. Imagine Dragons even stopped by Netflix headquarters to perform an impromptu concert for the picket lines. Writers are demanding better pay, new staffing requirements, shorter exclusivity deals, and an assurance that they won't be replaced by artificial intelligence. The Alliance of Motion Picture and Television Producers has said they are, quote, united in their desire to reach a deal that is mutually beneficial to writers and the health and longevity of the industry, and to avoid hardship to the thousands of employees who depend upon the industry for their livelihoods. ABC's parent company, Disney, is one of the studios involved in these negotiations. And so let's take this to our group chat with ABC News contributor, Google Tech Policy Fellow Mike Muse, ABC's Will Gans, and Senior National Correspondent Terry Moran. Thank you all for being here. Terry, I want to start with you. Just bring us up to speed here. What's the latest on the negotiations, and what are the main sticking points?
Well, the latest are that both sides are dug in here, Diane. There's no question this is going to be a long strike. People are talking about months and months where the writers will be out. And the reason is because so much is at stake. Those issues that you outlined there, these are basic structural issues. The writers recognize that streaming and artificial intelligence have changed the game, changed how shows are created and developed and sold and distributed, and they want a role in that that is different than the production companies want. And then artificial intelligence changes the game so much as well. What the producers see is writers trying to get more power over their product. Writers say absolutely right, because that is the only way to get paid a decent wage in an industry that is changing so much by technology of viewing and the technology of writing itself. So brace yourselves. This looks like it's going to be a very long strike.
Mike, among other things, writers want an assurance here that AI is not going to take their jobs. How real is this problem?
You know, it's a real problem. I'm actually really excited and curious to see how this is going to play out, because what this comes down to is an understanding, how do studios understand artificial intelligence? What the writers are asking for is two things. They want to make sure that all the material, the AI can't learn on their material and on scripts. And so, Diane, you know, we always talk about data and how machines learn off of the data. And so what they want to prevent is, like, say, for example, using 3 scripts that won an Oscar in order for the machine to learn off, to understand the construct of how to make an award-winning script. And so what they want to make sure is that no source material will be used from the things that they have written. But the curiosity for me is, how well do the studios understand that the human nuance is important in order to write a script? You think about Dave Chappelle, right? A ChatGPT or a generative AI can't write the material the way that Dave Chappelle could, because there's an understanding of nuance that the machines don't yet understand. And so I'll be curious to see, how do the studios really understand generative AI to realize that there can't be a displacement of workers, which are the writers.
All right. Well, several productions have been suspended due to these strikes. So what happens if this goes on? What more impact could we see?
Well, there's a lot more impact. I mean, the immediate impact is obvious. Kimmel, Fallon, Seth Meyers, Colbert have all halted production. SNL halted production. We didn't get to see Pete Davidson return to Studio 8H. And then over the weekend, of course, we saw the MTV Movie and TV Awards completely take a different form when the host, Drew Barrymore, pulled out in solidarity with the writers. So the impact right now is immediate. And then looking forward, you see it right there, Stranger Things has halted production because the Duffer Brothers remind us that writing doesn't stop before the show starts production. Once the show is filming, there are rewrites happening. There's rewrites happening in post-production. So they've completely stopped production. So has HBO's Hacks. So some darling shows of the Emmys and some fan favorite shows as well are not going to be premiering as soon as we had hoped they would. So this impact, though it's happening right now, is also going to be affecting us for months to come.
Now, Mike, the last writer's strike was in 2007. Why is this one happening now?
What happens is the writers always have to go through a new bargaining agreement every time a new technology forms, right? So it was just film, and then movies started going from the big screen to the TV sets. And so then from the TV sets, they went to the home distributions. And so now we're looking at in terms of streaming. Because streaming is so massive right now, and because so many people are watching streaming, what happens is usually writers will take a low-end upfront compensation in order to get a better back-end compensation with residuals and royalties, but these streamers are not offering royalties, and if they do, it's a very minimal, and when I say minimal, that's a strong word, minimum residuals on the back end. And so what the writers are asking for is to be compensated on the back end appropriately, as well as higher on the front end, but in order to do that, they have to quantify it, and by their quantifying it, they need to know who are the streamers and what is quantifying the number of streamers that is watching it. But we all know these streamers do not give up their data. We do not know how many people are watching per episode, and they do that strategically. And so it's going to be difficult for the writers to pull that data in order to get the right number of compensations residually on the back end.
Oh, it's a tangled web. Terry, you've been covering label strikes across the country for the past couple of years. So how does this one compare? And given AI is at the center of it and other tech issues, could we see more strikes like this in other industries?
No question. I think this is the canary in the coal mine for the impact of artificial intelligence on millions and millions of jobs across industries. And right now, you do see American labor having a moment, right? Union membership as a percentage of total labor, total workforce is still in decline, but you see more and more strikes. You see more and more interest among workers in organizing to get a better deal. And the reason is this tight labor market, low unemployment, employers still looking for workers, for the first time in decades, gives workers the upper hand in a lot of issues. And you see across the service sector, which has been traditionally weak in union organizing, much more interest in getting labor unions going. They haven't had a tremendous amount of success, but there's no question that interest in unions once again as an instrument to better workers' lives and to get these structural protections against things like artificial intelligence, that's on the rise.
All right, Mike Muse, Terry Moran, Will Gans, thank you all.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.